You know, in Scotland, we have a great system. Between Scottish Training Federation, Skills Development Scotland, and all of the training providers, we provide an excellent service in modern apprenticeships. It's a shame the government doesn't fund it properly.
The STF Manifesto was published in May 2021. In this section, 3 members of the STF Board speak about some of the asks in the manifesto.
Going forward, what we need is fair, open and transparent commissioning arrangements and something that's relatively easy access for our members to be able to complete and to go on some sort of procurement framework and notice of what the demand statements are from each local authority, information about statistics from data hubs in order that we can use these as drivers for courses and skills. The problem is that some of us won't actually have worked with the local authorities before, so it's completely new. STF conducted a survey of members across the sector with EF contracts, and we had 100% response to say that yes, there will be redundancies, which will lead to potentially a skills gap across the sector. I am really worried about the number of redundancies potentially will come to fruition across the sector.
It's one thing I'm very much aware of is that all of our members, we may have had a short period of time in furlough, but we've all really worked on tirelessly throughout this period. We've been working in business, keeping it going for the past 2 years to the point we've not really had a break because we feel it's important and somebody needs to keep that theme going, whether it's about employability and getting people into jobs and being that middle person, if you like, and when they're in jobs, supporting them in jobs and to achieve their qualifications. One of our difficulties is that in Scotland only, we tend to front load funding for younger people. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you need to upskill, reskill, or want to learn a new trade, then you should have the right to that apprenticeship and to have that apprenticeship fully funded, regardless of your age. It is important that we support young people. They have been badly hit through the pandemic and no one denies that, absolutely not. We know there's some funding available through the Young Persons Guarantee and that will support people, but we cannot forget that those aged over 20 are experiencing the same difficulties as young people and need that contribution.
Apprenticeship funding in Scotland is very poor compared to the rest of the UK, and our employers and our customers are being shortchanged. We provide funding that is a contribution towards the cost of the apprenticeship, and the employer is expected to add to that to make it viable. Unfortunately, the reality of life is that most employers are not interested and won't provide funding, so we have to try and deliver the Scottish Modern Apprenticeship within the funding parameters, and that's just not enough. You've got to find a bigger budget. All-age apprenticeships are something that we need to look at across a number of industries, not all industries. Again, we're back to some of the service sectors, hospitality, retail, and so on. And that's because the traditional workforce disappeared when Brexit took place. Nothing to do with the pandemic, simply Brexit made this happen. And we are thousands of people short to work in these industries that came from other parts of Europe. They are still allowed to come, but the cost of bringing them in is prohibitive, and so therefore industries tend not to. We have a massive shortage in the hospitality industry because of it. I know that the retail industry is suffering, and so it goes on. So we need to look at where is the replacement for that. The replacement, we were always told, leading up to Brexit, is the indigenous population. The thing is that most of the indigenous population that's available for those job vacancies in Scotland tend to be older than 25. The funding falls off a cliff when because of this, it's only a contribution towards. Then we are unable to provide a service for those people. It's not any cheaper to deliver the qualification. There's this illusion that because somebody's older, this won't cost as much money. But the fact is, it costs more money because they have all these old habits, preconceptions about what the industry is going to be like, all of which have to be removed before you can start to deliver the training properly. We need to stop the age discrimination in modern apprenticeships. You should be able to access a modern apprenticeship that's fully funded, whether you're 16 or 60.